Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you all for attending today, and I would like to thank the organizers for this wonderful opportunity to present and talk about IoT and what we are doing in also in regards to IoT. Perhaps we were unlucky today with the work that's going upstairs. They've just started, so I hope it's not interfering with our speech today. So the discussion points mainly would be about the IoT, what is IoT, why everyone is talking about IoT, how we can make use of it, and what are the use cases that are there at the market. So I'm sure internet in general made a huge impact in our lives, in our day-to-day business, in how to do business, on how we live, how we connect with people. So it made the difference that we were looking for. Now, when we're talking about the IoT, the Internet of Things, where things are talking to each other, there is a different kind of impact compared to the internet that we know and use in our daily life. So the internet, when it came, it connected us with other people. We can email people, we can scroll through the internet, read news. But with IoT, what happened is that it connected things together. So if there are sensors in manufacturing facilities, they can talk to each other, connect, and then connect to back-end servers and do some analytics to increase the efficiency. That would change different aspects of our industries. So what happens with IoT is that it connects things like sensors, machines to centralized or decentralized locations like servers to do certain applications that we can speak of some examples in the upcoming slides. So there are three main aspects here. We have things that are connected. We have data that are collected from things and then analyzed and processed to help people make use of these things and data. The main advantages, or what we want from IoT, is to save time and save money, and more importantly, increase efficiency and reduce the effort to do certain applications. Where it can be used in different aspects or industries like automotive, agriculture, industrial applications. And by the way, there is a sub category for IoT called industrial IoT that is different kind of speeds that we can have. There is also retail, but we can also talk about the home automation because there are a lot of improvements and a lot of breakthroughs that happen with home automations as well. So the benefits that we spoke about earlier, it increases efficiency. So if, for example, you have feedback coming on from sensors from your manufacturing facilities, you can increase your efficiency by knowing when will these machines will be down, so that you can predict when you need maintenance, when you need to replace your machines or equipments. Therefore, less downtime. Therefore, there is more profitability and perhaps less injuries. So there are a lot of things that can be useful by applying IoT in general. So if we go to statistics, McKinsey, one of the main providers of data, they say that there are 127 devices hooked up to the internet for the first time. So imagine that in every second there are 127 devices added to the IoT ecosystem. IoT analytics, they also say that the biggest driver to IoT investment is for cost reduction. As I mentioned in the previous slides, there are three main drivers for IoT adoption in general, which is cost, efficiency, and time. And also have that the number of cellular IoT connections expected to reach to 3.5 billion in 2023. So that's a huge amount or huge number. So what makes up an IoT system generally? Sometimes these three value chains, or let me say 5 value chains, varies in terms of shape or type, but generally we have these 5 main value chains. There are sensors or data collections or data generating equipments. So in this aspect, we say sensors. And here we have things. It could be anyone or anything that processes these sensors and then send it through a network gateway. These data that are collected and then sent to the network gateways are then processed in clouds or back-end servers, which is then displayed in user interface or dashboard. So if we take an example, we have a health monitoring device that is implemented in a person. So if you have a wearable, there is a sensor that collects data, and there is a thing which is the bracelet that you're wearing, and then it connects or sends data using Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So that is the network gateway, the Wi-Fi, and then it sends to back-end servers where the processing happens, further processing happens, and then there is a user interface, whether in your phone or maybe in that can be displayed through your doctor or whoever is needed to see it. So these are the main value chains of IoT: the data collection or sensors, data generation devices, then the things, and then the network gateways, the servers, and the user interface. And Answer, if we want to talk about Answer, we have designed this product where we intended to have most of the technologies involved in IoT, or with different gateways like LoRa, Sigfox, Wi-Fi, GSM, GPRS, for us to approach companies or even government institutions and give them POCs in no time. So what you need as inputs or sensory devices can be processed using our platform and then sent to the servers with whichever network gateway you prefer as a customer. And then we design also the user interface to show your data or allow you to control whatever machines that you want to control using the data that was fetched initially from the sensors. If we talk about applications, there are a lot of applications of IoT. We can have hours or speak hours and hours about the applications, but I tried to talk about the general or the things that we can see on our day-to-day business. Let's imagine we have heart monitoring devices or bracelets, wearables that are connected to our bodies and then linked to our doctors. So that can reduce or minimize costs and also increase the efficiency in interventions. So if you have a heartbeat sensor and then your readings went up unusually, which will then be sent to your hospital or your doctor, and they can then intervene at the right time and save your life. We have another application that we are proud of as Amani, which is the eMushrif project. They can use it in malls to detect the people who are wearing the bracelets that to stop them from entering malls, for example, which reduces the cost basically for monitoring these people who should stay in quarantine. Retail, I'm sure we know, some of you know the Amazon Go experience, where you basically can go and shop without any human intervention. You don't need a cashier or anything. You just take your groceries and then leave the shop, where you then automatically pay for what you got. There's another example, which is Target Run. It works like a fee to your device. If we talk about environment, there's also Palma de Mallorca Harbor. There's a port where they use IoT to measure the negative environment condition, and then by ships, of course, and tourists, endangering the island environmental balance. So they use these sensors to collect data and then optimize their experience. There is also some agriculture use. So as I mentioned, there are a lot of applications. And then there is industrial IoT that is flourishing at the moment. This is one of the applications. The industrial IoT is a subcategory of IoT, where it has to do with manufacturing facilities, and more of industrialized application. It's a bit different than the usual IoT because it's critical. It can be damaging. It can be, if something went wrong with industrial IoT, it can be damaging. It can cost a lot of money, and sometimes it can cost life. So that's why it's critical industry compared to the usual monitoring IoT applications. For home automation, you usually control home appliances. There is big investments in this aspect. We've seen Google invest around 3 billion to acquire Nest company. So you can control your house appliances, or they can also now sense your preferences. So if you prefer to have an air condition at 24 degrees when you get back home from work, this system can do that for you. Or if you come back home, there is a GPS tracker that can be linked to your location, and then before you reach your house, you find your garage door open and then closed, of course. So there are a lot of investments that are happening in this aspect. This is part of the IoT technologies. If we talk about challenges, mainly there is security concerns. So if we talk about technologies, there are great applications, but of course there are security concerns. I was listening to one of the TED Talks about one of the ethical hackers, and he was speaking about some of the home appliances in the kitchen. That home appliances can be reverse engineered or can be hacked in order to get the Wi-Fi password. And then from that Wi-Fi password, you can get access to the router. And if you get access to the router, you can basically access all the data that is connected to that router. So for example, if you're doing banking using your local network at home, then using that or hacking that home appliances will grant the hacker access to your banking system. And then if you share photos, videos, of course, if you have anything connected to the local network, that can be accessed by hacker. So that security concern is there. That is the main challenge with IoT. And then if we talk about health applications, for example, that is great. The example I gave initially about health sector. So it's great if the doctor can intervene and save your life. But what if that data is shared with everyone, where everyone can see that you have health issues, which will then stop you from getting some opportunities? Or basically get you exposed. So that security concern is there. And the other challenge is the adoption. Some of the applications, for example, in the industry, the industrial IoT is resisted from decision makers or even from the users. If we talk about home automation or even something related to government or companies, there is always this resistance to change. That is one of the things that probably stopping some of the developments in growing countries like Oman. And then we come to rules and regulations that needs to adapt to the changes that are happening with IoT. This is a very dynamic industry, and if we don't accommodate that dynamics with rules and regulations, that we will have a problem. So that is, I tried to summarize IoT applications and usages to give you an idea, and then probably open the door for discussion. I can see some of the questions in the comments. So the question here says, is the IoT projects that we have in Oman can also detect it by phone? I'm no expert in that, but I think yes. It is linked to your phone and bracelet, because the bracelet is connected to your phone, as far as I know. But I cannot elaborate more on that because I have no insight about it. But I think yes. So if you have any questions regarding the presentation or IoT in general, please let me know. And in the meantime, I would like to tell you that IoT is also paving the way for other technologies to flourish, like, for example, digital twin. Digital twin started in 2002, but now there is a more accelerated process to enhance this technology with IoT. So digital twin basically is a digital replica of your physical asset. So for example, if you have an airplane engine, or if you have a manufacturing facility, you can have a digital twin of that facility and then get that data for you to better understand your manufacturing facility or engine, for example, in cars or airplanes, to avoid any problems in the future. So you get a real-time feedback from your physical assets, like manufacturing facilities, to analyze it in order to prevent future problems. In like future adoption for this, they are talking also about controlling some physical assets using the digital twins. So there are a lot of things that are adopted or improved with IoT nowadays. So if you have any further questions, please let me know.